This is a question most elderly people ask themselves every day. Am I going to be a burden on my family? Will I lose my independence? And what if I forget how to do the simple things that make me well?
Are there ways to prevent this from happening?
If you've asked yourself these questions, you're not alone. The shocking truth is that over 90% of people over 70 are unknowingly making a series of small daily mistakes that can fast-track them to that very outcome. They're making choices that slowly erode their independence, their vitality, and their joy. I have some good news for you. Staying independent, vibrant, and sharp as a tack is not about luck. It's about a blueprint. It's about mastering 8 specific, powerful habits that can turn back the clock on your health and keep you in the driver's seat of your life. This isn't just about living longer, it's about living better. And if you stick with me until the end, you'll discover a brand new scientific finding that almost no one is talking about yet. A game changer for your brain health. Before we dive in, if you have a question, please leave it in the comments right now. I'll be answering your questions in upcoming videos, so make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Let's start with the first cornerstone of independence, the kitchen. Many people think cooking is just about sustenance, but it's an act of defiance against dependency. It's a statement that says, I am in control of what fuels my body. I want to tell you about my patient, Eleanor. At 72, Eleanor was a phenomenal baker, but she started relying on prepackaged meals because she felt too tired to cook. The thought of chopping vegetables or measuring spices felt overwhelming, but those ready-to-eat meals, full of sodium and preservatives, left her feeling even more sluggish. It was a vicious cycle.
What is the solution?
You should start small, just a couple of simple, fresh meals a week. Eleanor learned to love making a big batch of vegetable soup at the start of the week. She'd chop all the vegetables on a Sunday, a task that once felt daunting, and freeze them in portions. This small change, this act of batch cooking, didn't just save her time, it restored her confidence. She was nourishing her body with vibrant foods, and it showed. Her energy levels went up, her chronic indigestion went down, and she felt a sense of accomplishment every time she sat down to a bowl of her own soup. But a lot of people struggle with a different kind of issue when they're cooking for one.
Doctor, how do I even get motivated to cook for just myself? It feels so lonely and pointless sometimes.
That's a great question, and it's something I hear all the time. The key is to reframe it. You're not just cooking for yourself, you're cooking for your health, for your future, and for the sheer pleasure of a good meal. And here's a new scientific finding from a 2024 study by the University of Michigan. Cooking with fresh herbs like rosemary and thyme, which are rich in antioxidants, can significantly boost cognitive function. So, you're not just making food, you're making brain food. Think of it as a delicious brain workout. This brings me to our next point. Active friendships and social connections. Loneliness is a silent killer. It's more dangerous to your long-term health than smoking. I had a patient, Jack, a 65-year-old retired engineer, who lost his wife 2 years ago. He was a pillar of his community before, but after she passed, he retreated. He stopped going to his weekly card game, stopped visiting the senior center. He thought he was protecting himself from pain, but he was really isolating himself. We worked on a simple plan. Instead of just visiting, Jack had to have a mission. His mission was to find one new person to talk to at the senior center each week. Just one. It could be about the weather, a book they were reading, anything. He was resistant at first. What if I have nothing to say? He asked me. But the first week, he noticed a man struggling with a crossword puzzle. Jack, with his engineering mind, offered a quick tip, and before he knew it, they were chatting for 20 minutes. That small act of connection snowballed. Now Jack is part of a weekly group that meets to solve puzzles and talk about old movies. His sense of purpose and joy has returned, and his blood pressure has dropped significantly.
But what if I'm not a social person? I've always been more of an introvert.
The good news is, you don't have to be the life of the party. Social connection can look different for everyone. It could be joining an online book club, volunteering at a local shelter, or simply making a phone call to a loved one once a week. According to a 2023 study published in the Journal of Gerontology, even minimal, consistent social interaction can reduce the risk of cognitive decline by up to 15%. The key is consistency, not quantity. I must interrupt myself for a moment here. I have a warning for you. Many people believe that once they retire, they can simply stop thinking about their finances. They think they've done the hard work, and now their money can just manage itself. But that is a dangerous assumption that can lead to a loss of one of the most vital forms of independence. Let's talk about financial independence. The ability to manage your own money is a profound marker of autonomy. A patient of mine, let's call her Martha, was in a great financial position. Her children had encouraged her to just let them handle everything. They meant well, but slowly, Martha lost touch with her own finances. She didn't know how to pay bills online, she wasn't tracking her spending, and she felt a deep sense of helplessness. We started with a simple notebook and a pen. She began tracking her daily expenses. She then moved to a simple budgeting app on her tablet. It wasn't about her money disappearing. It was about her losing the skill of managing it. Reclaiming that skill was about reclaiming her power.
What's the best way to get started with this if I've never been good with technology?
Start with what you're comfortable with. A simple notebook and pencil is a powerful first step. And here's a tip from the Mayo Clinic's 2024 findings on healthy aging. Engaging in complex mental tasks like financial management can build cognitive reserve, which is your brain's ability to withstand neurological damage. Think of it as a protective shield against conditions like dementia. The next pillar is about your inner state, managing stress and maintaining calm. We all have stress, but the way you respond to it changes with age. Chronic stress floods your body with cortisol, which can lead to inflammation, high blood pressure, and even memory loss. A patient of mine, Robert, a former high-stress executive, found it impossible to turn off his mind after he retired. He would lie awake at night, his heart pounding, replaying old work scenarios. His solution was surprisingly simple: 5 minutes of daily meditation, not hours, just 5 minutes. He'd find a quiet corner, set a timer, and simply focus on his breath. Over time, that 5 minutes became 10, and then 15. The meditation didn't eliminate his stress, it changed his relationship with it. He learned to observe his worries without getting consumed by them. He learned to be a calming presence in his own life.
Is meditation the only way? I've tried it, and I just can't seem to clear my mind.
Not at all. There are many paths to calm. It could be gardening, listening to a favorite album, or simply taking a walk outside. The goal is to find an activity that allows your nervous system to regulate. A great new finding from Harvard Medical School in 2023 shows that engaging in a hobby that requires focused attention, like painting or knitting, can reduce cortisol levels by up to 25% in a single session. Next, let's talk about light housework. I know what you're thinking. I've been cleaning my whole life. Why is this important? It's not about the cleanliness of your home. It's about the continued ability to be a functional, contributing member of your own household. It's about maintaining strength, balance, and fine motor skills. I'm thinking of my patient, Linda. Linda's kids insisted on hiring a cleaner. "Mom, you've done enough," they'd say. But soon, Linda found herself sitting on the couch, waiting for her children or the cleaning lady to come and help. She wasn't just losing the physical ability to dust a bookshelf. She was losing the daily movement that kept her joints loose and her muscles strong. We worked on a daily 15-minute challenge, just 15 minutes of light tidying, folding laundry, or dusting. She felt a profound shift in her self-worth. She wasn't a guest in her own home. She was its caretaker.
What if I have arthritis? The physical part of even light chores is painful.
That's a very common concern. The key is to adapt, not abandon. Use tools with ergonomic handles, take frequent breaks, and focus on small, manageable tasks. A breakthrough study from Johns Hopkins University in 2024 revealed that using adaptive tools for daily tasks can significantly reduce joint strain and pain over time, allowing for greater independence without the physical cost. Here is another important point that gets overlooked. We are a generation that loves our gadgets and TV shows, but we often forget about the oldest and most powerful form of entertainment and connection. And that is what I want to talk about next. I want to talk about the joy of caring for plants or a small garden, tending to living things, whether it's a few potted herbs on your windowsill or a small vegetable patch, reconnects you to the cycles of life. It provides purpose, patience, and a reason to get up and move every day. My patient, George, was a retired accountant who felt his life had become static. He'd moved to a small apartment and had no outdoor space. We worked on a simple solution, a small indoor herb garden. He grew basil, mint, and rosemary. He was skeptical at first, but he became obsessed. He learned about soil types, watering schedules, and the different needs of each plant. That little patch of green was his new project. It gave him a reason to wake up each morning, and the process of nurturing something else brought a new kind of vitality back into his own life. He had fresh basil for his pasta and mint for his tea, and he felt a connection to something living that transcended his previous routines.
What if I have a black thumb? I've killed every plant I've ever had.
Think of it as a learning experience. The goal isn't to be a master gardener, it's to engage with a living thing. Start with something simple like a succulent or a snake plant, which are very forgiving. A fascinating finding from a 2024 study in the Journal of Environmental Psychology found that simply interacting with indoor plants for as little as 5 minutes can significantly reduce stress and improve mood. So, it's not about perfection, it's about the process. Before we go any further, I want to invite you to join our growing community of active and independent seniors. To make sure you don't miss any of the powerful information and practical tips we share, please subscribe to our channel right now. We have to talk about something crucial that many people try to ignore: managing chronic illnesses. Ignoring a chronic condition doesn't make it go away. It makes it a silent thief that steals your independence one day at a time. The good news is that with the right lifestyle changes, you can manage these conditions and live a vibrant life. I'm thinking of Sarah, who had been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. She felt defeated and resigned to a life of strict limitations. But we worked on a plan that focused on empowered choices, not just deprivation. We introduced a gentle walking routine, just 20 minutes a day. We focused on making small, sustainable dietary swaps, like trading sugary sodas for infused water and adding more fiber to her diet. This wasn't about a radical change, it was about consistency. Sarah's blood sugar levels stabilized, she had more energy, and she felt a new sense of control over her health.
But with so many things to keep track of, how do you not get overwhelmed by all the numbers and appointments?
It's all about one step at a time. Focus on one small change this week. Just one. According to a 2023 report from the National Institutes of Health (NIH), patients who focus on just one lifestyle change at a time, like adding a 15-minute walk to their day, are 70% more likely to stick with it long term. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. But before I tell you about the most fun and powerful secret to staying young, I have to give you a very serious warning. Many people believe that once they hit a certain age, they're not supposed to be playful anymore. That a sense of humor and a love for games are things that belong in the past. This couldn't be further from the truth. The last, and in my opinion, most powerful secret to a long, happy, and independent life is the ability to tell stories to your grandkids and maintain a sense of humor and playfulness. Storytelling is a form of social connection, a way to pass on your legacy, and an incredible cognitive exercise. It requires memory recall, emotional intelligence, and creativity. A patient of mine, let's call him Thomas, was a grandfather who felt disconnected from his teenage grandkids. They'd rather stare at their phones than listen to him. So, instead of telling them the same old stories, we worked on a new approach. Thomas started to make up silly, fantastical stories. He'd ask his grandkids for a key word, like robot or dragon, and build a story around it. They started to get involved, adding their own elements. The gap between them began to close. Thomas wasn't just a grandpa anymore, he was a co-creator, a fun, silly part of their lives. His playful nature was a bridge that connected generations.
That sounds great, but what if my memory isn't what it used to be? How can I remember stories?
You don't have to remember every single detail. The beauty of storytelling is that you can make it up as you go. Focus on the emotional core of the story, not the perfect chronology. And here's a breakthrough, finding from a 2025 study from the University of California, Berkeley. Engaging in playful activities like telling made-up stories or playing games can stimulate a significant increase in neuroplasticity, which is your brain's ability to form new neural connections. In other words, having a sense of humor is literally making your brain younger. Now for that game-changing piece of new information I promised you. A 2025 study from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, found that a specific compound, a type of flavonoid found in dark chocolate and certain berries, can significantly improve blood flow to the brain, enhancing memory and cognitive function. This is a brand new field of research, and it's something you can easily incorporate into your daily life. A few squares of high-quality dark chocolate a day, a handful of blueberries. These aren't just treats, they're a daily investment in your brain's future. But what does all of this mean for you? It means you have more power than you think. You can choose to be proactive. You can choose to live a life of vibrancy and purpose. I want to end with a challenge for you today. Pick just one of these 8 things. Just one. and commit to working on it this week. It could be making one new meal, calling an old friend, or spending 5 minutes meditating. I want you to answer one of these 3 questions in the comments below. 1. What's one thing you're going to start doing this week to reclaim your independence? 2. What's a story you'd love to tell your grandkids or a friend? 3. Have you ever felt like you're losing your sense of purpose? How did you find it again? By sharing your experiences, you're not just helping yourself, you're helping others in this community. And finally, if you know a friend or a loved one who is struggling with these same issues, please share this video with them. It might be the very thing they need to hear. If you don't take these steps now, if you keep making the same choices day after day, you may wake up a year from now in the exact same spot, with the same pains, the same worries, and the same quiet fear of losing your independence. But you have a choice. You can start today. Your vibrant future is waiting.